The World Cup is here. 48 nations, 104 matches, the biggest sporting event on the planet. And somewhere right now, over $1 billion worth of football talent is sitting at home watching it on television. Welcome to the Financial Foul. Let's build the team that never got to exist. In goal, Gianluigi Donnarumma, 27 years old, 81 international caps, one of the best goalkeepers on the planet. Valued at $52 million, he has never played at a World Cup. And this summer, he won't. Not because he's injured, not because he's lost form, because Italy, three-time World Cup winners, one of the most storied nations in football history, failed to qualify. For the third consecutive tournament, the goalkeeper of Manchester City, watching from his sofa, now the defense, Dean Huijsen, 21 years old, Real Madrid, $90 million. He played the full 90 minutes for Spain against Egypt in March. He was a certainty for the squad. His inner circle were so confident he'd be selected that they were shocked when Spain named their squad without him. Huijsen was reportedly devastated. And here's the detail that makes it even stranger. For the first time since 1950, Spain will play at a World Cup without a single Real Madrid player. Not one. The club that has defined Spanish football for generations, completely absent from the national team's summer. Next to him, Alessandro Bastoni, $82 million, Inter Milan, one of the best ball-playing defenders in Europe, also Italian, also watching from home. And at right back, Trent Alexander-Arnold, $78 million, Real Madrid. The most creative fullback of his generation. England are at the World Cup. Trent is not. Thomas Tuchel looked at one of the most technically gifted players in the Premier League era and decided he didn't fit. Trent, who moved to Real Madrid, who won La Liga, who has redefined what a defender can do, left out. 3 defenders, $250 million, none of them in North America. The midfield, Cole Palmer, Chelsea, $140 million, the most valuable player not at this World Cup. England are there. Palmer is not. He had a difficult season by his extraordinary standards, but $140 million of talent watching the tournament from home is a statement about how brutal international football selection really is. Phil Foden, Manchester City, $117 million, also England, also not there. 2 of the most gifted attacking midfielders in world football, both English, both Premier League based, both left out by the same manager. Combined value, $257 million, Dominik Szoboszlai. Liverpool, $105 million. Hungary were eliminated in heartbreaking fashion. A lead that turned into elimination. A nation that has produced world-class talent but cannot qualify for the sport's biggest stage. And Sandro Tonali, Newcastle United. $93 million, Italy again. The midfielder who has rebuilt his career after personal struggles, who has become one of the Premier League's most important players, watching with the rest of his nation. 4 midfielders, $455 million. Not one of them will touch the ball in North America this summer. Now the attack. Khvicha Kvaratskhelia, PSG, $105 million. The winger who lit up the Champions League this season. The player PSG paid $82 million for just 18 months ago. One of the most electric attackers in world football. Georgia did not qualify. And Kvaratskhelia, a player who could walk into any starting 11 at this tournament, will not play a single minute. Victor Osimhen, $87 million. Nigeria missed out in a playoff decided on penalties. Osimhen, the Champions League's leading scorer this season, squandered a chance that could have sent his nation through. He described it as one of the worst moments of his career. A player at the absolute peak of his powers, absent. And Hugo Ekitike, $105 million, 23 years old, rupturing his Achilles tendon in a Champions League quarterfinal, surgery, months of rehabilitation, a World Cup that will happen without him. France are at the tournament. Their $105 million striker is not. 3 forwards, $297 million. Between them, a qualifying heartbreak, a penalty shootout agony, and a cruel injury at the worst possible moment. The total? 11 players. Over $1 billion. Sitting at home. But the bench tells its own story. On the bench in goal, Georgi Mamardashvili. Liverpool, 33 million. The Georgian keeper who plays alongside Kvaratskhelia for his national team. Two of Georgia's greatest ever players, both watching from home. Robert Lewandowski. Poland, 37 years old, 89 international goals. One of the greatest strikers in the history of the game. He stood on the pitch after Poland's playoff defeat to Sweden, tears running down his face, knowing that this was almost certainly his last chance. Gone. Estevo, Chelsea, 93 million, 19 years old. The teenager who was supposed to announce himself to the world in Brazil colors. A muscle injury ended that dream weeks before the tournament. Brian Mbeumo, Manchester United, 93 million. Cameroon did not qualify. Benjamin Sesko, Manchester United, 76 million. Slovenia did not qualify. Eduardo Camavinga, Real Madrid, 64 million. France are at the World Cup. Camavinga is not. Didier Deschamps decided his season at Real Madrid was not good enough. A player who won the Champions League now watching his teammates compete without him. Rodrigo, Real Madrid, 58 million. A torn ACL. A year of rehabilitation ahead. One of the worst days of his life, he posted on social media. Add it all up, 11 starters worth over $1 billion, 7 more on the bench worth hundreds of millions more. Some didn't qualify, some were left out, some were destroyed by injury at the worst possible moment. Football is the most popular sport on earth. It generates billions. It moves billions more through transfer fees, wages, and commercial deals. And yet the game's financial system cannot protect its most valuable assets from the random cruelty of sport. A torn ACL doesn't care about transfer fees. A playoff penalty shootout doesn't care about market value. And a manager's selection decision doesn't care about 140 million. The World Cup will be spectacular. The talent on the pitch will be extraordinary. But somewhere in the background, over $1 billion worth of football is sitting this one out. And nobody can do anything about it. Subscribe to The Financial Foul. New videos every week, following the money behind the beautiful game.